My name is Henry Parsadanian, and this is Fighter Profile. Today we're at my home gym of Hayastan MMA Academy. I grew up here, you know, it's a family here. I was born and raised here, North Hollywood. My entire life I've been living here. I built a life here, you know, I enjoy it here. I'm 16 years young. I got into martial arts when I was 3 years old. Actually, my late father put me in martial arts. You know, I've just been doing it for him my entire life, fighting for me, my family, my father up in heaven. And, you know, I was 3 years old, you know, it's been almost 12, 13 years. I haven't got tired of it yet. My first martial arts was actually judo, but it was always, you know, my father's dream, my family's dream for me to get into MMA too, which I have been doing recently. You know, my end goal is to be an Olympian in judo, you know, win Olympics first place, set me in for life, and then, you know, whatever the future has for me, whether it be MMA or whatever sport I decide to get into. I did judo until I was from 3 to 9 years old. You know, I continued judo my entire life. I've been doing it to this day. I've never stopped. But in between, you know, I got into boxing a little bit. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 6 years now. You know, it helps me with my judo. Judo helps me with my jiu-jitsu. You know, pretty much just sports that help each other, you know, whether it be the wrestling, judo and MMA, or the striking and strength that I use in judo. You know, ever since I was little, I kind of enjoyed beating up people. So as much as it was different from everybody else, I always like being different, you know. Stay the same and you get stuck in the same place, you know. Martial arts has just helped me channel, you know, whatever outside life I've had, social life, you know, my anger. You know, it's helped me make friends and family that without it I probably wouldn't have, you know. It's helped me build strength, build confidence. I beat up people and, you know, I get rewarded for it. So it's kind of helped me, yeah. My father had cancer for 8 years. So it was kind of hard growing up, you know. My mom and dad were mostly in hospitals most of the time. It was a little hard growing up, but at the end of the day, you know, I know my father loves me, I know my mother loves me, I know my sister, wherever it be, you know. I've had multiple father figures here even, you know, help me get through that. So, you know, I've always enjoyed practicing. I've always enjoyed being here because it's helped me just get through life. It wasn't always easy to have a dad that was sick. But then again, my dad, you never showed me that he was sick. He was the strongest person I ever know. So, you know, my mother too. My mother, she's been a mother and father to me all my life. So that's always been how it is. So when I was 11 years old, I won my first Pan American Games. I was 11 years old. They took me out to Mexico to represent the U.S. So, you know, when I won that, I got first place in that. I beat Mexico, I beat Colombia, and I beat Brazil. It was the first time when I came back to my hometown and, you know, I saw how proud everyone was actually of me. And, you know, I was like, you know, I want to do this for a living. Again, I beat up people and I get rewarded for it. You know, I make people happy with that. So why wouldn't I do it? So I made that my end goal my whole life. Since I was little, you know, I would sit and watch UFC with my dad. I would sit and watch whatever Olympics, 2014 Olympics, I would watch with my dad, I would watch with my mom, you know. It was always a family thing. Ever since I was little, you know, my whole family supported me. So, you know, growing up, you know, there was obviously people that even came to this own gym, my gym, Hayastan MMA. You know, there was Parsadanian, Manny Gamburian, Ronda Rousey used to train here. You know, there's a lot of people that train here. So, you know, even growing up around that, it was helpful to me. Other martial artists, actually, Parsadanian, you know, he's one of the people that used judo in MMA. And, you know, he made it pretty successful, whether he fought George St. Pierre, he fought Nick Diaz, fought a lot of big fights. So, yeah, that's obviously someone I look up to. Again, my coach Gokar Chivichin, he fought MMA too. And, you know, he killed everyone. So, you know, there's been a lot of people that have been doing judo. Judo is a base and they've made a living out of it. Ronda Rousey too. You know, she's the first woman fighter to use grappling in a way that nobody has ever seen before. So, you know, yeah. Journey, it's been a constant battle between the sweat and blood and tears that no one sees here. Whether it be people trying to drag me down, people trying to tell me I'm not good enough, people trying to tell me that I'm not working hard enough, but, you know, nobody has really known what the struggle's been like. Only I've known what the struggle's been like. For the last 5 years, yeah, it's been pretty hard. I won my first Pan America actually 3 months after losing my father, so that was pretty hard. But, you know, I won that for him, and I've been winning it for him ever since, you know. 2 years ago, you know, my junior Olympics, one of the biggest fights of my life. You know, I was winning the fight, and I actually dislocated my hip. It was one of the worst pains. It's probably the worst pain I've ever felt, you know. The point where I passed out maybe like 4 or 5 times on the way to the hospital. You know, it sent me back around 5-6 months. You know, it's kind of hard, especially at this level. Injuries, it sets you back for months and months. You know, I've got multiple contusions on my neck. You know, I've broken each of my fingers, I've broken my legs, everything, bro. It sets you back a lot, but obviously the comeback stronger because you want it more, you know? The hunger, you get more hunger from it. I fought in Royal Combat. It was a MMA fight in February. So I won that second round submission, dominated the whole fight. I actually have a fight coming up on June 2nd as well. Again, MMA. For striking, I went straight to MMA. I didn't even go through Muay Thai or anything like that. So, you know, it was easier for me like that. Using my grappling and striking together, way easier for me. I fought in Worlds one time for Judo. You know, it's the biggest stage, especially at my age, it's the biggest stage you can be on. I obviously want to win Worlds, World Championships for Judo. That's probably one of my biggest goals in life. After that, you know, in Judo, Olympics. Olympics is also probably my biggest goal in life. Bigger for me than even a UFC belt, you know, more discipline for that. But obviously, again, I want to win UFC gold. You know, that's also a very big goal. I'm a very exciting grappler. That's where I am, you know, whether it be my jiu-jitsu that I use, whether it be my judo that I use. You know, I can stand and bang with you too. I'm a good striker too. I've been boxed for 3-4 years. You know, I've been MMA for 2 years already. I've been practicing MMA for 2 years. I'm a very exciting fighter. I don't sit there on the ground and I don't let you breathe. That's the kind of fighter I am. I'm like a snake, you know. I get you, I'll choke you out, I'll armbar you, I'll leg lock you, whatever it takes, but I'm not a boring fighter. As soon as we get in the ring, you know, I'm a different person. I don't care about friends, I don't care about family in there, you know. It could be my best friend standing across from me, but in that ring, it doesn't matter for me, you know. It could be whoever it wants to be, you know, my only goal is to win. I don't care how I win, I don't care who I'm winning against, but that's my only goal in there. There's people looking up to you, that's been a big drive for me in my life. You know, people looking up to me has been one of my biggest drives. Because even at this age, there's people that I look up to, and I know they're feeling the same thing as me when I have little 6-7-year-olds looking up to me and saying they want to be like me one day. You know, that should be your biggest goal, is always for people to want to be like you. You know, that's the biggest compliment you can get, is for someone to want to be like you.
Because Gokor is a big Armenian legend. How was it the first time you came in here and you started working with Gokor?
Oh wow, it was you know, I didn't even notice who he was before I came in here. You know, I went home and I searched up, you know, I was like 3-4 years old. I went home and I searched up Gokor Chavichin, typed out his name straight from their website, saw all of his fights, saw all of his MMA fights, you know, saw like, you know, the aura he had around him. And you know, he's also one of my role models. You know, I've always wanted to be like him growing up, because you know, he has everything a fighter could even dream for. You know, he has his own club, he has his own name. A lot of people look up to him too, so yeah.
And the last thing for me, do you have any shout-outs that you want to tell all the fans out there?
Of course, you know, I have my Father up in heaven, most important, God, obviously. You know, none of this would be possible without him. We got my mother, who's been taking care of me since I was a baby. You know, whether it be funding my really expensive trips or whether it be supporting me in my times of losses. You know, my sister, she's been like a mom to me, you know, always my life. You know, all my coaches, we have all my role models here. We have all my uncles that have been like father figures to me. You know, I have my coach, Sensei Gokor, Sensei Arthur, Sensei Sako, Sensei HAYK, all of them. It's family here. That's all, bro. I just want to thank my family for the opportunity. Thank you guys for the opportunity. You know, and this is Fighter Profile.